All right, guys, time for the clock. So you're going to need 4 things. First, you need the paper plate that has the lines around it. So one of your paper plates doesn't have any lines. You want the one with the lines. You need your turtle. You don't need the snake for today. Leave the snake in the bag. And then you have, it's called a brad or a fastener. It's kind of a brassy looking thing. And it's got 2 long parts on it that can spread out or get squished together. And then the last thing that you need is a pen. You could try a marker. It might smear a little bit. You can try a crayon. We're going to be writing on the paper plate, and because it's kind of shiny, it might be a little tricky to write on. So you might have to experiment with a couple different writing tools to find one that will write on here. All right, guys, so I'm sorry. I've been trying to figure out how to make the light not shine on this quite so bright, but it's just a glossy plate, so we're going to make it work. So when you look at this, you can kind of compare it to the pond we did yesterday, right? With the pond here, remember we had our rock with the nice flower and the berry bush, and then we had this pile of dirt and another big pile of rocks and this pile of dirt over here. So we're going to start with these 4 right here on our clock. And we're going to start with this one up here. This one up here is the one at the top of the clock. And for that one, we put 12 o'clock. So you can kind of flatten your paper plate out a little bit, write a 12 here underneath that big line. And any one of these can be your big line at the top. So you don't need to worry about which one it is. There are 4 large lines on there. Make one of them be the top. And then we're going to go over here to the side. This is our middle of the afternoon spot. And we're going to put a 3 right there. Then down here, this is our supper place or our first thing in the morning place. And we're going to put a 6 right down there. And then, make sure you can see it over here, we're going to put a 9. So when we work at making clocks or marking clocks, we tend to start with these 4 points. Those help us to kind of get things oriented evenly on the page. So now we're going to fill in these smaller lines. The funny thing with a clock is we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and so on and so forth forever and ever. So right here we got to 12. So now we start over again with a 1 right there. Mine looks a little funny because I'm trying to write it right on the edge. Now here on this next one, we get a 2. Do you remember how turtle moved more slowly? And that's what we're going to see here on this clock, is that turtle moves a little more slowly. So when you hear people talk about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, that's based on where turtle is pointing to things on the clock. So we're getting this set up for your work tomorrow where we're looking at where turtle's pointing to on the clock. Sorry, my plate's spinning away there. So I have another little black line here. It's really hard to see because of that glaring light. So I'm going to put a 4 right there next to that little black line. Now here I've got another one. That's going to get a 5. Here's my 6. Next one right over here is 7. Now over here, 8. 9. Here's this line. 10. And one last one up here makes 11. And then we're back around to 12 again, because that's what clocks do. Things just keep going round and round and round. Now, on my turtle, I don't actually have the hole in the bottom. I forgot to take this one up to school and punch the hole. So instead of the regular poker thingy that the brad that you guys have, I have an actual screw here that I'm going to try to put in and see if it'll make my hole. There we go. But you go ahead and get your little brass brad. Squeeze the two sides together so they're kind of flat and straight. Poke them through the hole there on Turtle and put them in. So they should hold Turtle firm here. And then Turtle can move around on the clock. And that's what you're going to need. You have Snake and you have another paper plate. We're not using them right now because Turtle is the really important one for us, because when we're talking about time, we talk about the hour first, and most importantly, the hour. So Turtle, he moves kind of slow, just like an hour is kind of long. So we're going to be working with Turtle first on this paper plate clock that you're making. We're not using the snake yet. So just leave Snake in the bag, leave that paper plate off to the side, and have your clock with just Turtle on it ready to use for tomorrow's math. We'll see you then.